All right, we are here at the Rose Bowl post-game. The Arizona Wildcats falling to the UCLA Bruins 31-30. I'm Justin Spears here with Michael Lev. We're part of the Wildcats from the Arizona Daily Star. Michael, you know, Arizona got behind early, and it looked like it was going to be another blowout loss for Arizona. Rhett Rodriguez starting off 2 for 11, but he really picked up the pace. Threw for, what was it,
234 yards.
Something that, I mean, if you went into this game guessing, will Rhett Rodriguez throw 234 yards? That's kind of like up in the air. But I thought he handled the pressure well, considering it's his first collegiate start. Not a lot of people were expecting anything out of him. And he gave Arizona a chance to win. And that was the one thing that I took away from the Kevin Sumlin press conference was Arizona had opportunities to capitalize. For instance, a J.J. Taylor run that would have resulted in a touchdown if he held on to the ball, but a UCLA defender kind of punched it out. UCLA recovers, but Rhett Rodriguez gave Arizona chances. He got them the lead in the second half. How did you assess his performance tonight?
Yeah, you know, the one thing I would say is that I thought he'd be a bit more efficient. You know, He's 15 for 34 in the game. He's got off to a really slow start. He was 2 for 11 at the end of the first quarter. So even from that point on, he's still only 13 for 23.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's not that great. You'd like to be in the 60 to 65% range, if at all possible. That was a problem. If you had told me before the game, though, that Arizona would rush for 289 yards in this game, I would have said they're going to win.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about before the game in our Facebook Live video how they had less than 300 yards in the previous 3 games combined. They rediscovered their running game today, despite the absence of Leif Freck. This was, you know, by far their best rushing game against an opponent other than Southern Utah or Oregon State. That was good, right? They moved the ball up and down the field, but the J.J. Taylor fumble was an absolute killer, right? And, you know, we've talked about J.J. a million times. Great kid, hard worker, great in the locker room, great teammate, all those things. But, man, cannot put the ball on the ground in a situation like that. It would have been at least 3 points, probably would have been 7 points. In a game you lose by 1, that's a big deal, right? And also settling for field goals some other times, right? They got down, you know, at that end of the field, they got down there and then they got a penalty, right? Pushed back, had to settle for a field goal down on this end, you know, in the fourth quarter. Again, they're down to the 11-yard line, had to settle for a field goal. Did you know, Justin, this is the 3rd time this season that Arizona has gotten within a score against an opponent in the fourth quarter, and they were unable to get the ball back. BYU, right? BYU, USC.
Yep.
And tonight against UCLA. This one was the worst example of that.
Yeah.
There were 6 minutes and 28 seconds left in this game. And, you know, UCLA ran the quote-unquote 4-minute offense to perfection. Great play by Wilton Spate. Got to give him credit, pulling the ball out when everyone least expected it, running around the side. Then 3rd and 6. 15-yard pass to Caleb Wilson. You know, it looked like they were blitzing. The Colin Schooler came in a little bit late. They did not get pressure on the quarterback. On a night when they had 4 sacks, they had double-digit tackles for losses. When they really needed to get that one stop at the end, they couldn't get it.
Yeah.
That's been kind of a theme, you know, in 3 of their 5 losses this season.
You know, we talked about this in the post-game press conference. We asked Colin Schooler. This might have, I'm not going to say it was Arizona's best defensive performance. On paper, it could have been because it was a season high in sacks, right? Season high in tackles for loss. I mean, Arizona, they were all over the place. Colin Schooler was making plays left and right.
But UCLA still had 31 points.
Yeah.
Right?
Third down breakdowns and fourth down.
The inconsistency of this defense is sort of emblematic of the inconsistency of the team, right? Like, sometimes they look really good. And then other times, like, UCLA is just racing down the field and scoring. Only 5 plays or 4 plays to cover, you know, 75 yards and doing it in less than 2 minutes. Like, what happens there? I think some of it is a lack of depth. You know, they had, you know, not great depth to begin with coming into the season. Tonight they're without 3 cornerbacks who were the top 3 cornerbacks in the depth chart heading into the year. And Jace Whitaker obviously hasn't played. He's played 1 series the entire season. He's been banged up. Lorenzo Burns was out because of injury tonight. And we found out after the game that Tim Huff is no longer with the team.
Yep.
We don't know what exactly happened, but he's not a Wildcat anymore.
Yeah.
So you end up playing Mackenzie Barnes at one spot, true freshman, and Christian Young at the other spot, also a true freshman, but also a safety all season long until this week when they obviously had to, come up with some sort of emergency plan. They're missing Justin Belknap. They're missing Jalen Cochran. And to me, that just sort of shows up over the course of the game. That lack of depth on defense, that lack of fresh bodies. They're unable to sustain, those good plays over the course of an entire 60 minutes.
Kevin Sumlin, he said after this game, 1 point or 21 points, a loss still feels the same. I totally understand what he means, but a night like tonight where all the odds were against you, not a lot of people thought Arizona was going to come in and win, except for me. That's in the pregame show. I thought Arizona, they surprised a lot of people. And sure, they're sitting here at 5 losses, but, there's some optimism. Arizona is not where they need to be right now. It would not shock me if they miss out on a bowl game. However, a night like tonight is encouraging for the near future, considering there was a lot of young guys that made some plays.
Yeah, it's true. I feel differently about this performance than, say, Utah last week. They were just blown out at Utah. They were not competitive. They made tons of mistakes. They just looked outclassed, right?
Yeah.
Tonight, they traded blows. I wouldn't call it a heavyweight fight because these are not the two heavyweights of the Pac-12, but it was like a middleweight fight, at least, right? And
they were going back.
It was a good undercard. They're going back and forth. They showed a ton of competitive spirit, good effort. When they were down, they rallied, right? So, you feel good about those things. But I think I know where Kevin Sumlin's coming from, right? You can't sit here and say that a 1-point loss is good enough. They have to figure out a way to do the things to actually win the game. As his counterpart up in Phoenix famously said, you play to win the game. You don't play to lose.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. You don't play to lose by 1 point, right? So it's a frustrating night in a different sort of way. They can definitely, feel good about themselves to some degree heading into Oregon next week. I don't think it was a good development for Arizona that Oregon lost at Washington State this week. You never like to face a superior opponent coming off a loss, and I would definitely say talent and speed-wise that Oregon is a better team than Arizona right now with a really good possible first pick in the NFL draft at quarterback. Compared to scrappy Rhett Rodriguez. It's going to be really tough. It's also going to be really tough to make a bowl game. They'd have to win 3 of their last 4 to get to 6-6.
Yep.
3 of those 4 games are at home, right? That's good. But let's look at who the opponents are. Oregon, you just mentioned, how tough they are. Colorado is beatable if Laviska Shenault does not play. He missed the game today. It's still a couple weeks away. We don't know that. I think that's possible. And you got to go to Washington State.
Yeah.
Really tough venue. Got absolutely crushed there the last time they played. Just ask Oregon how tough it is to play in Pullman. And then ASU in the season capper. It would be kind of cool if they were 5-6 heading into that last game, that have something to play for. Instead of being 4-7 or whatever the alternative is.
That'd be a fun way to kick off the Kevin Sumlin, Herm Edwards era in the state of Arizona.
How about if they were both 5-6?
Yeah.
Right? Both 5-6. Winner goes to a bowl game, loser goes home. It's not like you're playing to get into the college football playoff, but it would be fun. It would be something.
But just remember, you play to win the game.
That's right.
Always, always. Again, the Arizona Wildcats falling to the UCLA Bruins 31-30. We're going to end this real quick because Michael and I, we're about to get ran over by some lawnmowers. So
we almost got hit by a football during our Facebook Live. Now lawnmowers are coming after us, so we're gonna get out of here.
All right. Well, again, the Arizona Wildcats falling to UCLA 31-30. They fall to 3-5 on the season. Don't forget to download the Wildcaster app available on the App Store and Google Play. For Michael, I'm Justin. Thanks for watching.